Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one.
Yeah.
I hope my team they won one.
Yeah. Man.
I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one.
Yeah.
I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil's with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, and Mike Washington. Mike Washington is on assignment, but we have a full weapon of individuals ready to go. Charles will probably have to get out of here a little early as he's making moves to try to find a way. I guess he's still recovering from homecoming, so we'll see what that looks like in terms of him going on assignment early. I don't know how people get to make that work. So, hey, I'm just saying. With that being said, we'll try to fix a little bit of the audio. We got some audio distortion. Hopefully that's not me on my side. But with that being said, we have none other than AD Group, Wilton Jackson II. He's still looking clean, so he's living up to his name there. And then we have Brandon King that wants to get in here, and I'm sure he's not going to talk about NC State football. Maybe he's going to bring some basketball action or something like that. But no, they have a homecoming this weekend. All is love, all is love. He got his life right. He's looking good in the camera. Good stuff. With that being said, I want to say welcome to episode 6 Inside the HBCU Sports Lab Radio podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports, for institutions large and small, from the NEIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics, and facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs in the business of HBCU. I'm your host, Dr. Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington. As I said, he's on assignment. Charles Bishop and the rest of the team that I just introduced. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to KSWH 1230 in studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer and the beautiful home of Texas Southern University of Houston, Texas. As you know, I'm back from Puerto Rico. I'm feeling good. Out there on the beaches in the water, taking care of some business now. I did get some updates and make sure I did the research presentation represented with Texas Southern University. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I was up there on the beach in Virginia Beach. You know what? I had time with the Caribbean waters over there, the Atlanta beaches over there. I need to go to the West Coast.
Yeah.
In fact, probably let me go to Seattle and see what that looks like. So, you know, I'm just saying, as I'm saying, I'm blessed. Life was good. With that being said, today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is sponsored by THG Agency LLC. THG Agency, a company that provides sporting, educational consulting, and data analytics. With that being said, I'm going to start with you, Charles. How are you doing in terms of your news of the day? What's on your mind?
Oh, what's on my mind? We did SIAC and the CIAA Players of the Week. So today, let's start with the SWAC, the Players of the Week, as we take a look at the Southwestern Athletic Conference. They tabbed Texas Southern's Akeem Renfro and Edric Whitley, as well as Jeremy Ramirez, along with Jackson State, Jacobian Morgan, and Quincy Ivory for SWAC Football Weekly Awards. So let's take a look at the co-offensive Players of the Week. Akeem Renfro, another impressive game, 152 yards on 18 carries, including a 60-yarder, as Texas Southern won for the first time at Grambling since 2013. Co-offensive player of the week is Jacobian Morgan. He finished the night 16 of 23 for 191 yards, 5 touchdowns. He connected with 6 different receivers, while he added also 66 yards on 7 carries and a huge 4-minute drive to set up the game-winning score. Co-defensive players of the week, Edric Whitley from Texas Southern. He had 9 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, an interception, and a fumble recovery. As mentioned, Texas Southern beat Grambling for the first time since 2013. Also, co-defensive player of the week, Quincy Ivory, 12 tackles, including 8 solo stops. He also finished with a half a sack for a loss, as well as also finished with that stat a little bit off, but he had a half sack and half a loss. So he also finished with his first career interception. So big ups to Quincy Ivory. Also, specialist of the week, Jeremy Ramirez, averaged 40.4 yards per punt, along with a long of 53 yards, including 3 punts that he placed inside the 20-yard line for Texas Southern. So those are your SWAC players of the week.
Good stuff. Good stuff with the players of the week. Good update. I'm gonna go to you, Brandon King, to give you a little love early. I'm gonna come straight to you and see what's on your mind for the HBCU news of the week.
Okay. Hopefully you can see it's frozen on mine, but Commissioner Sonia O'Stills and Jackie McWilliams Parker honored as Nike Executives of the Year by Women Leaders in Sports from MEACsports.com and the CIAA.com. Sonia O'Stills, Women's Leader, recognized in an annual award recipients for 2025, honoring outstanding women who are transforming leadership in the sports industry. Among the honorees, Sonia O'Stills, Commissioner of the MEAC, was named a Nike Executive of the Year award recipient. The 2025 awards were acknowledged in Kansas City, where the organization also kicked off its Women Leader in Sports National Convention, which took place August the 12th through the 14th. The award program honored exceptional leadership and innovation across professional, collegiate, and sports business sectors, with categories including the Nike Lifetime Leadership Award, Nike Executive of the Year, and BSN Sports Rising Star Awards. Jackie McWilliams Parker was among these, also honored. Commissioner of the CIAA, was named Executive of the Year as well for her trailblazing leadership, vision, and impact on intercollegiate athletics. So congratulations to those two for all the work that they do in pushing and progressing HBCU sports, as well as women in leadership. So salute to them.
Well said. Well said. I agree with you 100%. Congratulations to Commissioners Sonia Steels and Jackie McWilliams of the MEAC and CIAA, respectively. Good information. Great update. Let me go to you, Wilton Jackson, a second. What's on your mind, brother?
So I'm going to get into the MEAC Weekly Football Honors. North Carolina Central quarterback Walker Harris was named the MEAC Offensive Player of the Week. South Carolina State's Jordan Franklin earned Defensive Player of the Week, while Morgan State's Raymond Moore II was selected as the Rookie of the Week, while North Carolina Central's Jaquan Sprinkle received Offensive Lineman of the Week, and Norfolk State's Noah Tracy was recognized as the Specialist for the Week. Walker Harris delivered another standout performance in the Eagles' 45-7 victory against FAMU. The redshirt senior completed 21 of 27 passes for 278 yards and 2 touchdowns, connecting with 8 different receivers. He also added 30 rushing yards and a touchdown on 8 carries. Jordan Franklin anchored the Bulldogs defense in a hard-fought 22-16 win against North Carolina A&T. The redshirt sophomore was all over the field, tallying 6 tackles for solo, 3.5 tackles for loss, totaling 32 yards, and a sack for 25 yards. He also forced a fumble, recovered another, and added both an interception and a pass breakup. Jaquan Sprinkle graded out at 97% with 5 pancake blocks, anchoring that North Carolina Central offensive line that allowed no sacks in the win against FAMU. Raymond Moore II made an immediate impact for the Bears in his first career start. The redshirt freshman completed 13 of 22 passes for 173 yards and a touchdown, while adding 52 rushing yards and another score on 7 carries. While Noah Tracy recorded 7 punts for 286 yards, averaging 40.9 yards per punt, including a booming 65-yarder. He landed 2 punts of 50-plus yards and added 2 touchbacks, flipping the field effectively throughout the contest.
Good stuff. Good updates. Congratulations to those folks. Let me go to AD Drew. Let him take off his mute button and see if he can get into action here. As I said, he's doing some double duty out there working in the stadium of all places. Boy, you get to see some behind the camera action from Drew. With that being said, AD Drew, what's on your mind this week?
Dr. Cavil, for some reason, I cannot open up my email where I am at on my iPad. Although I have seen the script, but if I open up the script on this device, then I can't see y'all.
That's mine. You got enough information up there. So just go off. I'm gonna let you go off. No, we're gonna see how special you are.
It just opened up. Lord Jesus,
wow.
I've been trying to catch up.
You must be living right.
This whole time, Dr. Cavil, and this man. Anyway,
I saw you working.
Happy homecoming, everybody. Happy homecoming. We got about 18 of them this week. So let's talk about attendance. Obviously, the game of the year, Jackson State, Alabama State, 44,000 people in the vet. That was the attendance leader this past weekend. Number 2, South Carolina State, North Carolina A&T, 21,500. Alabama A&M, Mississippi Valley State, 19,871. Texas Southern Grambling, 15,763. Arkansas Pine Bluff versus Westgate Christian, whoever the hell they are. It's through 11,423 people.
Wow.
And since I come from I'm sorry, y'all. Since I come from sports rap, I just do top 5. So I'm just gonna leave it right there with the top 5, everybody. I apologize for going top down, but with attendance, I think it's appropriate to go top down instead of bottom up.
I agree with you. I can go with you on attendance that you did it like that. I will throw in that we had one other above 10,000, which is North Carolina Central at FAMU for 10,012. They were just outside of the top 5. We'll do it like that as they do over there. Good stuff when you talk about those top. Homecoming's doing pretty well for folks. People may not have been able to find their money right for other games, but they make sure they stack the chips to get home for homecoming. And that makes sense. So if this is a trend, that's pretty good. With that being said, continue to look at it. I just want to make an announcement. Texas Southern University's homecoming is this week. And Charles, I know you got to move around, but that works out for you because I want you to know officially that homecoming ends Saturday at 7 o'clock.
Yes,
Texas Southern University. So all of you all that were interested in participating in Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas, I just want you to know it's been declared that it ends all activity at 7 o'clock.
You ain't got to leave, but you got to leave from here.
I'm just saying, I don't know what y'all gonna do for the rest of your homecoming evening. If you ain't gonna do it around these places at 7 o'clock. Hell, there's some people's game don't start at 7 o'clock, but it's a whole different discussion.
Indeed.
But let's take our first break. We'll come back on the other side and get into some of these matchups and see what these gentlemen think about. We're light on the matchups, particularly with the top 7 that we like to do. The MEAC has everybody, for the most part, has scheduled this weekend as an open date as they get into their 5-game gauntlet, which is fascinating to me. So the actions really start off with the MEAC in terms of who gets their first lead and edge in the MEAC. And the thing about the MEAC, because it's just 5 games, it's like a sprint race. You get that early sprint opener, it goes a long way. Yeah, you might have somebody that can put on the Jets a little later, but it's not much room for people that don't get good starts to finish strong. We'll see what that looks like, just my perspective. Then we're going to give a little love to our independents. Particularly, we got Brandon King over here, sneakershoptalk.com. You see him representing with his sneaker boxes in the background. I've been checking his size. He doesn't wear mine, so I'm a little upset about that because he got a couple of things I thought would look good on my feet. But, later, that's part of that non-hazing talk. We don't do that anymore. So let me stop with Wilson, over here in the Alphas. I don't know what y'all doing over there with the damn canes, but over here, we good. We good. Purple Gold Omegas, Roy back there with the Phi Beta Sigmas. Iotas, I know they still in the mix, but I'm not sure what they do. But that's a whole different question. From that perspective, hey man, I'm rolling today, so might as well get in trouble with everybody anyway. Let's take our first break. Come back on the other side so I can teach more classes. Get out the doghouse. With that being said, we'll be right back after this first break.
Hello, my name is Jacoby Morgan, a quarterback, and I'm a proud member of the Jackson State University Tigers football team. When I and my team are visiting Las Vegas, Nevada for the HBCU Las Vegas Classic, we would love to dine at Chick-fil-A located at 9830 West Flamingo Road. I encourage you to do the same for great food and fantastic dining experience. The owner and operator, Ron Peterson, a graduate of Prairie View A&M University, will be excited to have you as a guest. Go Tigers, go Swag, and eat more chicken.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Planning an event? From weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, we provide versatile event planning and authentic catering cuisines tailored to your needs. Whether it's pre-game meals for student athletes, fundraisers, weddings, corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC is your one-stop solution for exceptional service and unforgettable food. Our diverse culinary heritage means we cater to all cultural tastes, dietary needs, and food restrictions, making every meal uniquely yours. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Visit us on all social media at CMJ Events LLC or email us at cmjeventsllc@gmail.com. Also give us a call at 404-664-3882 so that we can start planning now.
College football fans, a champion will rise in Atlanta on December 13th. MEAC champion, SWAC champion, the 10th Cricket Celebration Bowl, crowning an HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year. Returning to Atlanta on December 12th, 4 bands will qualify for the big stage, where 2 national champions will be crowned. Follow us for rankings updates throughout the season, and join us on December 12th for event and ticket information.
Hello, my name is Blake Davis, and I'm a defensive back, and I'm a proud member of the Grambling State University Tigers football program. When me and my team are visiting Las Vegas for the HBCU Las Vegas Classic, we would love to dine at Chick-fil-A located at 9830 West Flamingo Road. I encourage you to do the same for a great food and a fantastic dining experience. The owner and operator, Ron Peterson, a Prairie View A&M University graduate, will be excited to have you as a guest. Go Tigers, go Swag, and eat more chicken.
Yeah. I love my
This is Dr. Bill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, Charles Bishop, Wilton Jackson II. I just want y'all to understand, don't say that Prairie View, don't Texas Southern folks, don't do nothing for your people. Now, Jacoby Morgan, he earned every penny, in my estimation, of that NIL.
Indeed.
It was a Prairie View man that had to put it out there on the table. Shout out to Ashley Robinson, because he helped make sure I could make it happen. And all those involved from Jackson State University in the athletic administration position, in terms of those involved, including those making sure that we work through the appropriate channels to do it in a legal manner.
Mr.
But I want to shout out the rest of those Jackson State business out there. Come on, man. Get some of these brothers some NIL money. They put in work. We got time. You put it on the show. We'll take a little something. We don't take a lot. If the young man gonna get his fair due, y'all need to talk to these folks. They spend all that money for homecoming. That's love. Take a Prairie View man and do y'all right. What's wrong with y'all folks over there in Jackson? I love. Y'all tell Morgan I got his back. That man deserves that. He deserves that. Keep it going, Morgan. I know a lot of people will question you, but you stood up. I'm proud of you. That's what you do at this level. When you get an opportunity, you make the most of it. And the rest of the Tigers, defensively, offensive, special team, obviously the coach, and all those coaches out there. That's much love. Shout out to Alabama State. They represented as well. But in this game, they're losing. They came up just short. But yeah, get that NIL out there ready for the folks. Drew know what I'm talking about. Dude, these folks, right? Brandon? I guess y'all quiet right now, Brandon. They won't get nobody to know NIL money. It's homecoming, man. Homecoming. You can write something. Sneakershop.com.
You see Travis in there.
Travis gonna take care of your boy. I told you. I ain't got no problem with Jackson. Hey, I'm going to Jackson. Them folks treat you well out there. Y'all just don't know how disappointed I was. Not there to make that game. Charles is gonna pick me up. I had set my airport. I couldn't find a hotel room. Literally, I could not find a hotel room. I would have been in a place. I watched
it was tight in Jackson.
Yeah,
it was pretty tight. Yeah,
it was tight. I mean, for no price, you can play whatever you want. They were like, "No, we don't have it." What?
Yeah.
What kind of place is this? Y'all don't. That's Tallahassee. That's Tallahassee. I'm sorry, that's Tallahassee. Let's get into some of these matchups. Get back to the business. We got it interesting here. First, we're going to look at is Prairie View A&M Panthers. They are 4-2, 3-0 in terms of the West Division. They take off Southern Jaguars that are just 1-5, 0-2. This, obviously, as you know, is a big-time matchup, and this is week 7 in terms of what that looks like. So we will get in that. You pull it up, Roy. You're right. We'll look at that Prairie View A&M Panthers 4-2, 3-0, Southern Jaguars. Fascinating with this matchup. This really gives the Panthers a chance to really put a solid clutch on the Western Division. Obviously, they can't run and hide because Texas Southern Tigers right behind them one lost, but they do have the head-to-head, so that's basically a 2-spot game for them. A lot of the season to be played, but a halfway mark to be at 4-0 is big. You got Southern Jaguars struggling 1-5. They need to win bad. Obviously, homecoming. They're at home. You're going to get everything. Offensively, I'm interested in that defensive matchup. Prairie View showed what they've been able to do. Even is taking over homecoming is what we see here. As G Boom says, in terms of that, a lot of business people going down there for Prairie View, so it'll be fascinating. But I'm interested in terms of how much offense can Prairie View get done against the Southern Jaguars defense. I think that's where a lot of this game is. We know the other side will be stalemate and solidly played. Prairie View has shown that they can be defensively strong enough to do enough to keep the score low enough for the offense. But that's why I'm fascinated. I want to get y'all thoughts on this. I'm gonna start with you, Brandon. What are you thinking about in this matchup here?
This is a matchup of two teams going in opposite directions. One team is going where they need to go, and the other team is Southern. I'll clear that up for you.
Thank you.
When you look at it, with your previous comments, Doc, you know, though Coach Jackson may not feel that way, when you talk about his defense, when you look at them from a statistical standpoint, Prairie View is the number 1 defense against the pass in the SWAC, as well as overall. They're averaging some around 338 yards allowed per game. And then when you look at running the ball, where Southern is very friendly in terms of defenses against the run. And you look at Prairie View is in the top half of the conference. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. We talk about so many times, and you hear it on these calls, coaches say we got to be able to run the ball and stop the run. Well, Southern's not been necessarily a team that's been very adept at stopping the run, and that is one of Prairie View's strengths. And offensively, when you look at and extrapolate further numbers out, they all head in Prairie View's direction. So I definitely think that Prairie View will be 4-0 in the SWAC after this game is over with. I just don't see Southern being able to pull this one out.
Wilton, from your perspective, when you look at the Southern defense and how strong we thought they were going to be coming to the season, where are you seeing the leaks? What are your concerns of what you're seeing from a defensive perspective from Southern?
I think Brandon just described it. This is when you look at Southern, typically they've been able to stop the run in previous years. This isn't an area where in previous seasons where we would have been saying like Southern can't defend, they can't stop the run, they can't stop explosive plays. This year is like totally opposite. And given some of the people that they have on the defensive line, one that always screams out to everybody is obviously Kelby Givens. But that's only one person, and his impact, while he's still having an impact, it's been limited in a lot of ways based off of, to the point of Southern hadn't been able to stop the run. And so I think this week when you get a Prairie View team that's heavy on running the ball behind Chase Beeman, who I also think is going to have a strong performance against this Southern defense, I just find it hard for Southern being able to, just within this next week or in a couple of days from now, being able to stop him. And I think to your point, Doc, is that can Prairie View muster up enough offense? Really, what I mean by that too is giving more of a balance instead of knowing, because if you're Southern, you know that Beeman is coming at you at some point, probably very early in first, second, or third down situations, right? But at the same time, it may get to a point where they're able to slow him down some, but once you have a running game that's consistent, and after a certain amount of quarters, first, second quarter, and the third quarter, when the defense has gotten tired, if you're Prairie View, you still got to be able to pass the ball as well. We know the defense is going to do their job because they've shown that all season, and Brandon alluded to that, in his breakdown of Prairie View stats. So I don't see this being a blowout, mainly due to the fact that Prairie View has kind of had some issues in terms of building the continuity on offense outside of running the ball. But I do think I give Prairie View the edge in winning this game.
Good points by both of you all backing up. I'm going to go with you, Charles, before I flip it, and then we'll get into discussion. I want to get AD on the next discussion. But I do want to get your perspective, because the thing came up and talked about who had they played. And I don't know if maybe that was focused on Prairie View in terms of that. But Texas Southern, I think it showed out that they're pretty good. Then they had some solid non-conference wins. Teams that struggled as much as Southern has. Mm-hmm. But where are you seeing your concern with the Southern offense in terms of what they've been able to do or not been able to do, for that matter, this year?
Yeah, they simply can't score. I mean, they have a heck of a running game, but not much of a passing game. So you can load the box, if you will, and challenge them. They've just had completely inconsistent play at quarterback. But, the intangible in this game is this Southern's homecoming. Yep. And, if there's one last fight at the OK Corral, this is it. In terms of being in front of the administrators, being in front of the board, being in front of the alumni, this is going to be that showing that they have to have. So it's going to be very interesting from that regard. But I do think Prairie View is the better team. I think Prairie View will be able to run the ball, like you mentioned, Wilson. Those things just don't get solved in a week. So I think this Prairie View team has the right mentality, the right makeup to go down to Southern and go get the win. In previous years, I would have been a little bit more concerned with regards to that. But I think, Coach Jackson, he has this team really dialed in. And I think that's the thing that really jumps out with regards to Prairie View. He said it on the presser this past week. We couldn't take anything off. Look at our performance this past week. So, I think that sort of mentality, to keep them grinding, to keep them on edge, I think that's going to prove very valuable going down to Baton Rouge this weekend.
Good points. We talked about it a little bit at Prairie View a couple of weeks ago going to Alcorn. This is one of the weird matchups, too, where Prairie View's had success going to Baton Rouge.
They have.
Vice versa, Southern has success going to Prairie View. So it's weird. I don't know if maybe it's just a West thing, which is a whole different discussion. But to your point, that Southern is going to be up early for this game. The question is can Prairie View find a way to kind of knock them out early, which is going to be difficult in terms of running the ball unless they get some big plays. Obviously, Holly, some people are saying he playing hurt. I would hate to put that out there because he does have the explosive plays. So that's the other thing is, can you stop him from having the explosive runs? He's probably going to get one or two, but you want to limit that. Won't spend a lot of time on it. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say one other thing, and to tease Charles with this, you know how we say if you lose a game, certain games you're gonna be on the ledge. I feel like if Southern loses this game, like we might need to start talking about basketball season.
Yeah,
if they lose it, you certainly talk about basketball season. But if they lose it big, I think that's the problem is how they lose this game. You can't afford to lose, but you certainly can't lose it bad. To your point. Or you can forget any ledge talk. It's going to be, a lot more than the ledge going around in Baton Rouge. Yeah. But there's a lot of Prairie View folks, they want to make sure that happens. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. Next one is we have Virginia Lynchburg Dragons taking on Texas Southern. I think you can name your score, so we won't spend time on that. But I did want to acknowledge again that not only will the game be over early, homecoming will be over early too at 7 o'clock. Hey, we don't have to speak on it long. It's going to be over before we even start. So let's go to number 10. We have our special guest here, so we're going to entertain this matchup. Number 10, Howard Bison, 3-3. Again, MEAC play starts next week. Tennessee State Tigers have been as fortunate. They're 1-5, and Big South OVC play has started and they're 0-3. We said a lot of changeover. It's good that they got that win against A&T. They played hard in that matchup, lost a tough one to Alabama A&M. But since then, it's been very challenging. The last chance at an HBCU win this year, Brandon, can you remember the last time Tennessee State has not had an HBCU FCS win during a year? So you may not be able to calculate that, but it sounds like the way you're looking, it's probably been a while. So anyway, Brandon, your thoughts in terms of this matchup?
Honestly, I'm going to sum it up really quick. 6 games in, this is a team in Tennessee State that still is kind of searching for consistency in an offensive identity. You look at a team that has not scored more than 24 points in any game this season. And I'll mention this in my preview, but they're averaging 12.9 points per game, which is it's the bottom of the Big South OVC, and it's like 121st in FCS football. So we're talking about a team that is offensively challenged, to say the least. And even with the 24 points that they scored against A&T, that came off just 3 plays. So they've not shown the ability to sustain drives at any point, and certainly not consistently this season. And because of that, I think if they fall behind early, which I predict they will, it's going to be a long day on field, and you can probably start heading for the exits after halftime, which is a lot of what people are going to do anyway. So they're going to be 1-6 after Saturday. I'm sorry to say, it pains me to have to say this.
Wow. It locks in a non-winning season. AD Drew, I'll get your last comments before we take this second break on this matchup. Brandon, I hate to tell you, it becomes hard to get that expansion card. You've been writing great articles, but if you lose to Howard, MEAC is a little challenging trying to get that expansion invite from the SWAC. So, maybe you can whisper that to some folks motivation. But go ahead, Drew. You sound still off a little bit, so jump in there.
You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Brandon, you got hope because you're playing Howard. You have hope. First of all, we're going to start with, I hope somebody comes and watches the game in person.
It's hope.
Once you get past that, Howard has been an inconsistent team all year. The run game has not been what it has been in the past. They've had inconsistencies at quarterback. So if you guys come to play, Brandon, if Tennessee State comes to play, they can preserve Nissan Stadium for homecoming. There is a chance that the Tigers can pick up this victory. Now, they're going to have to play hard. Howard is a good team, but they have not been a consistent team. Hence, a mediocre record at 3-3, which Howard will show up. Hope that they have bust legs when they get to Nashville, Brandon. That's all I'm going to say. If they have those bust legs, I can see Tennessee State getting a little bit of a get right against the Bison.
Let's take a break here. We will say so long to Charles Bishop as he has a flight to catch. But we'll be right back on the other side with the rest of the team to get in a couple of more matchups for the last two segments. I want to get their thoughts on this Grambling State, Arkansas Pine Bluff. Somebody is going to go down a deep, deep hole. Somebody's going to get a breath of life. We'll see what these gentlemen think about that right after this next break.
Hello, my name is Jeremiah Williams, a defensive lineman, and I am a proud member of Jackson State University Tigers football team. Me and my team are visiting Las Vegas, Nevada for the HBCU Las Vegas Classic. We would love to dine at Chick-fil-A located at 9830 West Flamingo Road. I encourage you to do the same for great food, fantastic dining experience. The owner and operator, Ron Peterson, a graduate of Prairie View A&M University, will be excited to have you as a guest. Go Tigers, go Swag, and eat more chicken.
Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit the Celebration Bowl.
Hello, my name is Nick Howard. I'm a wide receiver and a proud member of the Grambling State Football Tigers football team. When I and my team are visiting Las Vegas, Nevada for the HBCU Las Vegas Classic, we would love to dine at Chick-fil-A located at 9830 West Flamingo Road. I encourage you to do the same for great food and a fantastic dining experience. The owner and operator, Ron Peterson, a graduate from Prairie View A&M University, will be excited to have you as a guest. Go Tigers, go Sweat, and eat more chicken.
Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy. compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Speaking of those Grambling Tigers, let's get into that. Lost the tough one homecoming last week. 3-3, 0-2 on the season. With the week before that, they were in the State Fair Classic, and Prairie View was able to get it done. So they've fallen on the year to 0-2. They're the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions. It took a team that we're all still trying to figure out where they are located. But they got it done for homecoming, 2-3, so they're feeling good about themselves. They are 1-1 in the conference, more importantly, after a big victory. This is a chance to solidify themselves, but Grambling wants a little fight back. They've struggled at times as Golden Lions play really well at home for the most part. But I want to know from your perspective, which team do you give an edge to in this matchup, Wilton?
I'm going to give the edge to Grambling, although it'll be on the road. Really, because we really don't know what either of these teams really truly are, even though we're this far into the season. We've seen glimpses of both teams play well at certain points, and then we've seen times where both teams have played really, really bad. Like I remember Arkansas Pine Bluff and Christian Peters having a wonderful game, and then they, basically reverted back in terms of like miscues and turnovers and, not converting on short yardage situations to continue drives. And we've also seen Grambling look pretty solid at times with Xavier T-Set and leading that offense. And then there are times where they've looked staggered and the defense doesn't show up in certain ways. And they've also hurt themselves a lot in different games throughout this season. So, but I think against these two, this is a real pivotal matchup per se, in a way that, like, if you're Grambling, you are already 0-2 in the SWAC. You kind of need a win to obviously get a win in the SWAC West, but just to get a SWAC win in general. And if you're Arkansas Pine Bluff, if you get a second SWAC win, this bodes well for you in terms of, making consistent strides and where you want your program to go. But I think in this particular game, I'm going to give the edge to Grambling by at least a touchdown.
To your point, going to you, Brandon, what's interesting, if Golden Lions get this win, they're 2-1, and they still have Prairie View on the schedule. So they have everything in front of them. Grambling has that loss to Prairie View, so it makes it a little harder for them. But the other question is T-Set. Will he be healthy? He did a battle and effort coming off. He was in a boot. I don't know how that would have helped him in terms of being prepared for this matchup, but obviously they were giving it everything they got, because if they could come out of that with a win, obviously they're sitting in a really good position. Now with the loss, what are your thoughts in terms of Grambling, whether T-Set is there or not?
And Wilton's touched on it. You can't really. It's so hard to make heads or tails of either of these teams. 5 and 6 games into the season, and I look at Grambling. Yet they're 3-3, but they haven't beaten a Division I opponent all season. All 3 of their wins have come over Division II opponents. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's tough to really gauge. Is it that team, or is it the team that we've seen lose the other 3 games when the level of opponent was higher or perceived to be higher? And then if you're Pine Bluff, when was the last time 5 games into a season we talked about them in a position to win an important game? For them to not only get back to 500, but to be 2-1 this deep into the conference, I think. And again, you kind of touched on it, but and I don't want to take all the meat off the bone, so to speak, but this would be very, very huge for them, because so many times, for so long they've been, to use a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out reference, they've been the Glass Joe of the SWAC West.
Right.
To be in a position where they're even somewhat in the mix, if they can get this win, is huge. So when I look at it, I could see Pine Bluff eking this out. It's at home. They've got a lot on the line to play for. Even with their inconsistencies, the program does seem to be, although it's maybe take a step forward, take a step back to the side, take one step forward, they're somewhat trending in the right direction. So I could see them getting this win and really making a statement for their program.
No problem. Great comments. Framing that. Let me go to you, AD Drew, in terms of this matchup. Anything you see in this worth you finding a way to go from the Golden Lions or the Tigers? Which direction you leaning?
I'm kind of with Brandon. Grambling has not really shown me anything against like-level competition, whereas UAPB has that win against at least somebody of the same level, with that one person being in conference. Did we honestly think
say this? I want to get at the Grambling does have the East Texas A&M win. I know they just
right. No, I said
so y'all saying that
they do.
I was just saying that with Brandon, and to your point, you're right.
Oh yeah,
you're acknowledging it. But yeah, you still kind of right there, Brandon. They just moved up not too long.
But that kind of goes back to the point, Dr. Cavil. These teams have combined for 2 wins against like-level competition.
Yep.
So we're looking at teams who have not proven anything. Somebody has to win this game, Dr. Cavil. And if I'm going to go with somebody has to win this game, I have to go with the team that has at least picked up a win inside the conference, Dr. Cavil.
That's true. Good point.
So, and that team happens to be at home. That's also another plus in the camp of Arkansas Pine Bluff. We really don't know. They've been hot. They've been cold. Grambling is what Grambling is. And what they are not good this year under Mickey Joseph.
Good stuff. Let's stick with you, AD Drew, as you go to Tallahassee. It is homecoming.
Why, Dr. Cavil? Why?
0-2. Have you won for it 0-1? Somebody gets a win. To your point, somebody gets a win.
Somebody.
And unlike the last game, people got at least one FCS win. Neither one of these teams have gotten that. But this is a chance to get that, and it becomes in a conference race. So it's important from that standpoint. Likelihood outside of that, FAMU does have Jackson State still on the schedule, to their point. But where are you going with this matchup? I tried to sell it.
You tried. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you why you shouldn't sell this. The way these 2 teams are playing, Dr. Cavil, this will be one of these 2 teams' only SWAC win.
Wow.
Now, the fact that FAMU is at home, it is homecoming. I have to lean towards the Rattlers. I am not leaning towards the Rattlers. Why you have to put it on my face, Roy? Is it because I'm talking about the FAMU, Roy? See, there you go again, man. You know something when we talk about FAMU, you got to keep covering my face, man.
That's cold-blooded.
But no, seriously though, FAMU quarterback problem. Alcorn State quarterback problems. These 2 teams are mirror images of each other.
That's true.
When you have essentially 2 bad teams playing this year, and it's really hard for that to come out of my mouth when you talk about Alcorn and Florida A&M being 2 bad teams, because when you think about the history of these 2 programs,
that's true,
especially recently, and these 2 teams are looking up at everybody else in the SWAC, it's puzzling, Dr. Cavil. But I have to go with the home team in this one.
Wilton Jackson II and Brandon King, I'm going to save you the energy of having to try to figure out to go down the rabbit hole, but I'll ask you which way you're leaning, Braves or Rattlers, Wilton.
I'm going with the Rattlers. I don't see them losing for homecoming, but to Drew's point, I pretty much can't agree more to what everything he just said, because these are 2 terribly bad teams right now. Like you said, somebody has to win, and it's homecoming at FAMU. I would like to think, the team gives the fans something to be excited about with the win, and maybe it gives them an extra boost, midway through the season to kind of do some things different. But I think the fans at Bragg will be happy once this game is done on Saturday with the win.
Brandon King, I know you're not necessarily a Rattlers fan, so they might tilt your direction where you're going. They're playing homecoming the same time you're playing homecoming, and sometimes misery loves company. But going Braves around.
I know they've given up 87 points the last two games at home, but I mean, you know, the Rattler faithful will be in attendance, and maybe that'll give the squad the extra charge that they need to pull out this win.
Good one. Let's take our last break and come back on the other side. We have a little mid-major love. We're going to go with a top 7 matchup before we get in a little more of the Division II and see if there's anything else that these gentlemen want to add from that perspective. With that, we'll be right back after this last break.
Football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
With over 25 years of serving our communities, Destiny Financial Services, a division of Global Life, is here to help you and your family through difficult times. From cancer care to accidental industries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life, but you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call DFS at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at www.globelifeinsurance.com. That is 877-300-8269, or again, the website at www.globelifeinsurance.com.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th for event and ticket information.
Hello, my name is Trevon Jones, a tight end at Prairie View A&M University Panthers football team. When me and my family and teammates are out in Las Vegas, we like to dine at Chick-fil-A, located on 9830 West Flamingo Road. I encourage you to do the same, and for good food and a fantastic dining experience. The owner and operator, Ron Peterson, is a graduate of Prairie View A&M and will be excited to see you as a guest. Go Panthers, go SWAC. Hey, Emo Chicken.
Yeah. I love my HBC. Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, yeah, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Let's look at this mid-major matchup. It's fascinating to me for a lot of reasons. Benedict Tigers about to their winning ways. They took a dip last year. We know what they did 2 years ago. Head coach left, went to South Carolina State, surprised many people last year. Not necessarily of having a good season, but the fact that he won the MEAC and represented really well in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. at the end of the year with them coming as the champions of the MEAC, taking on Jackson State. They got it done ultimately. But fascinating matchup in a lot of ways. But now we have Benedict Tigers back in the football business. Top of the SIAC. Who would have thought it? 6-0, 5-0. Also a surprise based on some coaching changes. Edgewater Tigers are in the hunt. They're 4-2, 3-1. They have to have this victory. They want to stay in the hunt. And certainly Benedict Tigers wants this so they can stay in the hunt at the top. Looking forward potentially with a matchup with Albany Golden Rams that are in that vicinity as well. Edward Waters took a loss last weekend to Kentucky State. That's quietly there too. So interesting to see where your mindset. That was on the road. This time they have the number one team at home. This is the second time this year they had the number one team at home. We know what happened last time. Can they find a way to get it done again? Wilton Jackson II. What do you say about this top 6 matchup?
I'm going to lean more towards Benedict, but I do think this is going to be a good game for many of the reasons of what you just laid out. Both teams really, need this game, specifically Edward Waters. They need this game to stay in the hunt. And if you're Benedict, at this time of year, this is where you want to be playing your best football. And up to this point, they have been. They've been top of the rankings for the last several weeks or since the beginning of the season, and they want to stay there. And I think if you're Benedict to stay there, you have to still have a great play. When you start talking about your quarterback in Darius Ocean and from your impact players like your wide receiver in Jackson Williams and many others. But if you're Edward Waters, you absolutely, in terms of Noah Biden, you have to have a strong game. You have to be able to score in the red zone if you're Edward Waters to get this win. And he's going to be leaning. Like Noah Biden is definitely going to be leaning on his receivers to create that separation and make plays for Biden to put the ball downfield. If you're Edward Waters, but I definitely think this game is going to be close. But I'm going to give the edge to Benedict on the road against Edward Waters.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm going to go with you, Brandon, and let AD close it out in terms of this particular matchup. So, Brandon, I know you're familiar with some SIAC football, particular thinking about Georgia perspective, but this goes out to the bordering states, going to South Carolina and now Florida, as they are some of the latest interests in the long history of SIAC. But they're at the top right now. What are your thoughts in this key matchup between these two juggernauts?
I think this matchup is rather interesting because, like I said, it's almost like who would have thunk it when you look at the coaching changes that have went on. It's surprising to a lot of people to see these two teams in the position that they sit within the SIAC. I do think that Benedict is the better team, even on the road. It will be a competitive game, but I think they'll get it done. To use a phrase I've heard, I will give Edward Waters a puncher's chance, and I'll couple that with the fact of if Benedict can if they get caught schedule watching to their game next week, because they have Albany State. That's how it's pronounced, Mike. Albany. Albany State on the schedule next week, and if they get caught kind of peeking 168 hours into the future, they could get caught. So I give the edge to Benedict if they keep the main thing, what's in front of them, and worry about what's on the plate right now. But it won't be easy. They'll definitely have to bring the A game to get it done.
Yeah, AD Drew, let's go to you in terms of this matchup. You kind of alluded to it 2 weeks from now, I should say, not 2 weeks ago, but 2 weeks from now. That matchup with Benedict with Albany State is interesting, but if you're Benedict Tigers, you got to get through this one first. What are your thoughts in terms of this matchup?
Will Benedict's offense show up to this game? That's going to be the key. We know they can play defense, but they're going to have to put up some points against the Edward Waters Tiger team that does not mind getting into the track meet. And I apologize if y'all hear the House of Funk, that is the Morehouse Marching Band, playing in the background. They are having band practice, and they decided to come over to the stadium while I'm over here. So, guys, hear them. I apologize about that. Look,
no problem. That's part of the HBCU culture. We know that. We just got to figure out if they like to travel or not. Some of these players don't want competition, and so
I was talking to Slider Sports Guy earlier today. And we were talking about the importance of this game, not only for Benedict staying in the race before they play Albany State, but this game, the way the SIAC race is shaping up, will go a long way in the tiebreaker scenario. So when you after you get past the head-to-heads and all that stuff, record against the next highest finisher becomes one of those key tiebreakers. This game may be a determining factor because for Benedict, they will not be eliminated with a loss, but for Emma Waters, they will probably be eliminated with a loss, especially considering that two losses will be to Kentucky State and to Benedict, who will at that point be ahead of them in the race. So Emma Waters playing for a season, Benedict, both of them playing for tiebreak possibilities.
Oh, good foresight. I like that. Shout out to Karen Griffin, a great SIAC matchup, no doubt about it. It's a great one. And AD Drew, tell the House of Funk is fine as long as they want to be adjudicated. We have no problem with it. Going to this next matchup, we have Tuskegee Golden Tigers 2-4, 1-3 at number 2 Albany State Golden Rams. Won't spend a lot of time on this unless anybody think the Golden Tigers can get it done. Silence.
Golden Tigers got a lot of injuries right now, so
that makes
you definitely will need your flip card to know who's playing for the Golden Tigers.
Brandon is giving his thoughts on this matchup without saying a word. I like that. It'll be fascinating if Benedict can get out of this next matchup. They host Albany State, which will be fascinating. You think they get it done, you will get a 1 versus 2 matchup. We've seen this conference-wise in the SWAC. We can get a couple of things to roll right. We'll be able to see this in the SIAC more than likely, depending on where the votes stay. But just saying.
Dr. Cavil,
yes.
Will it be a 1 versus 2, or will somebody sneak a CIAA team in between them?
Oh, some people will vote for Virginia Union, which goes to the next matchup. Great job. Lincoln, Pennsylvania, 0-6, 0-3. Number 3 is Virginia Panthers at a 5-1, 3-0. No reason to really get into this. AD Drew kind of alluded to it. Virginia Union Panthers will win this. They get a chance from AD Drew's perspective to say, hey, based on how big they win the matchup, is the fact, should we move up to number 2? And everything goes out the window if Edward Waters gets the upset. Then we really got some intriguing about what takes place in terms of 1 and 2 and throws everything asunder with Benedict versus a 1-2 matchup. So it's going to be fascinating to keep your eyes on it just from that perspective, as we do a little foreshadowing. Bringing us to number 4, which is Johnson C. Smith Bulls, 5-1, 2-1. They're at Shaw Bears, 2-4 and 2-2. Shaw Bears, conference-wise, have been up and down. They beat who they're supposed to, not who they hadn't. Johnson C. Smith wants to stay in the race to see if they can redeem themselves against Virginia Union when it counts in the championship game. We saw that last year. Virginia State and Virginia Union. Virginia State won the regular season contest, played for a championship with Virginia Union. The next week, and Virginia Union got the revenge and held up a championship. You can kind of see that playing out for Johnson C. Smith for Virginia Union. If they get this victory, I won't get more into that. Last one we won't talk about, which is Kentucky State Thoroughbreds, Franklin Pierce. We've already said the fact that that game is no longer in Puerto Rico, so I actually came back early because of that. I would have had the excuse to stay in Puerto Rico for that matchup, the perfect excuse. But since that was not to be, I found myself catching a plane and getting on back to make sure that I could do the show live with you all from Houston, Texas, for whether that's worth. But, Puerto Rico is nice. I've been there since Sunday, so it is what it is. With that being said, great information, great dialogue in terms of what y'all been able to bring to the table. Any final thoughts in terms of this weekend, Wilton Jackson II?
No, I think things are good on my end. Again, some great games to come. Like I said, that Alcorn game, the Southern game, those are games where we're gonna find out where teams are gonna either separate or it's time to start bringing out the basketballs, throwing them on the court, because football season is just it's a wash.
He said, "Get familiar with your point guard."
Yeah. Well, you know they already have media days.
With that being said, Brandon King, how's your basketball team? What are you looking? Never mind. That's not right. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, after you reverted to your Georgia roots, you're smart. They got a team over there in terms of that Golden Rams. So never mind. Let's not worry about Tennessee State right now. We're talking about Albany State. Things are looking good. But serious, any final thoughts that you have for today?
No, I'm looking forward to another great weekend of HBCU football. You know, even though this, in terms of, there are some important matchups that we went over, and I'm just looking forward to sitting down and checking it out. Hopefully, I get a chance to be in attendance for our game on Saturday. So, looking forward to that. Of course, if we lose, then there's time to focus on basketball season.
Yeah, with that being said, since you brought it back up, basketball, I am thinking about going to Huntsville. I know it's the middle of the week, and I hate when they play these type of games in the middle of the week. But it is what it is. Tennessee State goes to Alabama A&M. That's Nashville going down to Huntsville. So I'm thinking about flying in, putting something together in terms of HBCU lecture series, talking a little bit in Nashville, and then putting one together in Huntsville prior to that game. So we'll see if we can tie up the bows and make that happen, but it'd be interesting. So I will be able to make sure that I look you up and see what your schedule looks like, Brandon, and give you some love there directly. That being said, let's go back to AD Drew. Let him close it out with the sound of funk, giving us in terms of his final thoughts on the HBCU landscape today. You on mute?
Win or lose,
yes.
The Maroon Tigers will be playing basketball next week. And we will host. Nice. We will actually be hosting a Division I opponent in Georgia State. Wow. They will be coming over to Forbes Arena to get a little bit of culture. So, and they're looking forward to it. So
it's a good deal.
We definitely are looking forward to basketball season on our first year head coach, Larry Dixon. But I don't want to say, definitely don't want to do the announcers jinx. Cannot do the athletic communication director jinx. But I will tell you guys to look at the schedule for our Maroon Tiger football team and start thinking about the possibilities. And when you start thinking about the possibilities, I need everybody on here to think about those side conversations that I had with you guys back in July about what this football team could be.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, 3 in a row would be interesting. Good luck for Morehouse. We're fascinated to see him get it done with all things being said. That's kudos. No matter what your schedule looks like, when you check up, get those wins together and you get the 3, that's making a statement. Not only that, kudos for being able to host Georgia State. That's a big thing. You don't see that very often at all. Obviously, Morehouse has been able to have some incredible matchups, taking advantage on the football side with Howard. But they also have the matchup on MLK Day in basketball, and it looks like that has paid off in being at least competitive, being able to get a win, if you would. Shout out to them in terms of what that looks like. We'll call it a show. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab, and the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Watch and Charles Bishop. We hope you enjoy it. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Watch and Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock. We'll be back here Sunday morning at 9 a.m. We'll give you the major division breakdown. We'll let you know what took place in terms of these matchups and see if there's any twist and turns in the top 7. Not a lot of action for the top 7, so we'll see a couple of teams, see if that can allow some teams maybe to move based on what they do this week. And we'll just give you some updates as well of what's to come in terms of the following week. So we look forward to next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. It's DrKenyattaCavil. That's Threads, Facebook, and Instagram. And remember, Game Time production team with Roy leading the way will be in Tallahassee, the highest of 7 hills, doing the SWAC TV broadcast. They'll do both. Tune in early on YouTube. You'll get some insight in terms of Game Time that we do, brought to you by BCSN. And then make sure you jump on SWAC TV That's 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can get your updates specifically on the SWAC, led again by Roy and some of the great individuals here will team in and bring you some updates on the perspective of some different matchups as we continue with the SWAC TV Game Time, brought to you presented by BCSN. Green Pig continue to move forward. We look to talk with you soon. I do want to say inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook, inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. We'll talk with you soon. Let's go with Wilton.
Of course.
Brandon.
Lecture.
80.
Y'all will keep putting me on this on mute. I will be able to say dismiss on time. So dismiss.
It's all good. It's all good. Appreciate y'all.